A beautiful naked lady walks up to a tree and wraps her arms and body around it as a very loving hug. Her love was so intense that her hands melded into the tree, becoming it, and her body soon followed. The tree goes through seasons till full circle of spring, and as the leaves form, one of the branches grow and creates a nest with eggs inside. One hatches and grows into a bird, eating the berries the tree grew for it, and as much food as it needed till it decides, coming into autumn, to fly away. The hummingbird merges into an eagle as it flies, and then it swoops into a body of water to catch food. Missing this food, it keeps going down till it morphs into a fish. The fish swims and swims past beautiful coral reefs until it reaches a cave. It enters the cave. As the water drains down and becomes mud, the fish also morphs into a salamander. The salamander walks out onto an island with many other salamanders. They fight, they squabble, they attack each other. There is only one salamander ignoring the drama, and it chooses to walk away. It walks towards the muddy shores and enters the water, then swims to another island, and this one was much nicer and full of beautiful plants and trees, luminescent fungi and streams. The beauty captivates his attention as he walks deeper and deeper into the forest until a storm came over, and while the salamander danced in the rain, it started to change again. But then, in the middle of its change, a huge lightning struck the ground so close to the morphing beast that it blinded it, and then, followed by a loud thunderclap, the beast morphed with fright, turning into a mole who started to immediately dig, creating a hole as it disappears. The mole hid and hid, hardly ever coming up to the surface. Finally, it just stopped, and as it ate one fallen seed within the earth, just a foot away from digging to the surface, it dies. But out of the mole, roots grew, feeding off the mole's body till it formed a seedling, and then a tree. This tree stood out from the rest of the trees with its metallic rose, silver and goldish leaves. Its trunk was smooth and golden in colour. A big hole was obvious, but partly concealed by overhanging branches growing towards the ground like a willow tree. A pregnant lady came by the tree and fell into labour. The labour was long, and with her only companion being the tree. She used the tree to help her feel through the painful moments, and as its smooth gold trunk was perfect to hug and lean on, she finally gave birth to a baby girl. She is a poor woman. Her clothes are tattered, her face not so clean. She lifts the baby up to her arms and starts to emotionally cry and weep. Using her scarf, she unties from her head, wrapping the baby up in it. She sees the hole in the trunk of the golden tree and places the baby inside. Then she runs away. Inside the hole lived a mole. When finding out he was invaded by a baby, he squealed annoyed as he sniffed its skin. The baby cooed and chuckled. The mole went up to her face and felt his mole whiskers on her cheeks as they raised from her giggling. In that very moment, he decided the baby could stay. So the mole and the magical tree looked after the baby, as the tree could tap into the minds of the animals living within it, producing the very substance they all individually needed to eat. Therefore, it could look after the baby until she grew big enough to go foraging for food herself. The mole also kept her warm at night and company during the day. They became best of friends. She grew into a beautiful girl with fine, long, almost platinum blonde hair that carried just a hint of yellow. Her hair reached her ankles when she had fully matured into the most radiating woman ever. One day, when she was picking berries, she overheard someone coming as a male voice was singing away to himself. Coming closer and closer, she went to run to her magical tree, which was now way bigger, growing to give her space enough to sleep. She didn't expect this man to follow. No human had ever noticed the tree of gold, as they see it as just a normal tree. And with leaves she pulled over her doorway, no one could see her either. But this time the tree stood out to this man, at least enough to be noticed. He was an authentic man with a happy mind, because the tree was indeed waiting upon such a fine man to be with or worth her baby's hand. This man approached the leafy doorway and pulled it across to see this beautiful, intriguing person. She was dirty, but with stunning blue eye color. He was captivated. It was as if they both knew each other on a soul level, and they knew they could trust each other. The girl took his hand and stepped out of the comfort of her tree, her mother. There was still a mole living with her, as this was the predecessor of the original. He squealed as he knew she was leaving. She pats him and turns to walk away with the man, who was still captivated by her beauty. The girl came back to visit the tree every week, till every few weeks, till only a few times a year, until she hardly came by at all. She noticed the families of moles still being born. Each time she came back, the tree was harder and harder to find, till one day she couldn't find it anymore and so left, never to return. The beautiful woman had the most fulfilling, happy life with her partner. They laughed and sung and danced. They grew a beautiful garden with a stream running through it. Their love produced 3 gorgeous children, all girls, and all very talented in different ways. The eldest loved all things of science and academics. The youngest was connected to the stars and beyond. But the middle girl was a tree hugger. If she ever got a chance, she would play in the garden and climb the trees. This beautiful child grew up to be such a peaceful soul who only wanted for happiness and love in this world. She was so pure of heart that one day she heard the call of the tree. It lured her into the forest, and she noticed it had a faint glow. She loved going back to play under it. Her love for this tree became so much that she visited it nearly every day. It became her companion. Some days she was so sure she could talk to the tree, and it would telepathically talk back. There was that much connection between her and this tree. One day, as she was bathing, she walked back to the tree naked to find her clothes, but on this day as she came back, she saw that there was something up. The tree was saying goodbye. Feeling immense love, she ran up to it and gave it the biggest hug till her hands started to morph into the tree, and she became one with this tree and brought it back to life, to create something else, to begin a whole new journey of reality.